5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Recycling piling up and littering the streets of St. Louis.
It's a mess.
The call tonight for the city to stop the overflow.
The fall chill is finally here and it may last a while. Plus, I'll time out any rain chances.
Our top story, another superintendent shakeup at St. Louis Public Schools.
It's a shame that this continues to be a pattern.
Tonight, more fallout for a district in distress. St. Louis Public School leaders are now tasked with finding both a new superintendent and a new school board member. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Ben Conover resigned from the board today as the interim superintendent talked publicly for the first time since Dr. Millicent Borishade was fired on Friday. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is here to explain what's going to happen from here. Brent?
Well, Mike, Conover described a, quote, pattern of unethical behavior, lack of transparency, and toxic governance. He believes the ousted superintendent should have been given an opportunity to address any concerns. Now we're learning someone familiar with the district will steer the ship for now.
Our promise is clear: to keep students at the center of every decision we make.
That's the now interim superintendent of SLPS, Dr. Myra Berry. She once taught special education and recently served as interim chief of human resources for the district.
We will rebuild trust, strengthen relationships, and continue the vital work of educating our city's children.
Her promotion coming as former superintendent Dr. Millicent Borishade was let go less than a year after receiving that role. She replaced Dr. Keisha Scarlett, who was also fired after concerns over finances. Monday, school leaders said the district's finances are in order and that there was no one specific cause for Borishade's termination.
Why, if we have serious problems and we have community concerns and we're not progressing, would you want to keep someone in that place?
The district will have to pay out the rest of Borishade's $268,000 contract through next June.
We keep getting the results of people that come in and try to govern or try to use tactics that may have worked in other districts, but don't necessarily work in our district.
Heather Fleming advocates for public schools through the Missouri Equity Education Partnership.
We really need people that have not just an understanding of the St. Louis community, but also a commitment to the St. Louis community, and that they become part of the community. I think that is one thing that those superintendents who have had staying power have been able to do.
The district will begin a search to find a new superintendent by July. Mike and Kelly.
A cool and breezy evening across St. Louis. Those gusty autumn winds are sticking around. Meteorologist Jim Castillo says, so is this fall weather, Jim.
Yeah, you know, we started out this morning, Mike, in the 30s outside of St. Louis. Farmington, for example, 37, 36 Mount Vernon, and 46 in St. Louis. And then a strong southerly wind with gusts to 35 miles an hour warmed us up today to 74. And these are the current gusts. Still a little bit gusty, not as bad as it was earlier, but it'll be kind of a breezy night, and that keeps the temperature up in the mid to upper 40s. So not as chilly tomorrow morning, but definitely jacket weather. Tomorrow it's gusty again, wind gusts to 35 miles an hour. Chilly mornings all the way through this week, but plenty of sunshine. Rain does return as we get into Friday. Coming up, I'll time out that rain chance. Also, more rain chances through the weekend into next week.
New details tonight on a South City shootout that led to a crash on I-55. St. Louis police now say 2 men were shot while firing at each other on South Compton Avenue yesterday afternoon. Both drove off from the scene. A 23-year-old man was later found shot on I-55 near Gasconade after crashing his car, and a 33-year-old man showed up to the hospital on his own. Both are in critical condition tonight.
We now know the identity of the body pulled from the Mississippi River near Crystal City. The medical examiner says she's 31-year-old Kaylina Sheffield of St. Louis. That's according to our partners at Leader Publications. A biologist sampling water called 911 last week after spotting the body near the Hugs Landing boat ramp. The medical examiner did not provide a cause of death or say how long they believe her body was in the water. A construction worker hit by a car last week in the Central West End has died. The crash happened last Monday on North Kings Highway at Lindell. Police say Joe Mahoney was hit while directing traffic for a construction crew. The driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating. Loved ones say the 36-year-old leaves behind a pregnant wife and 2-year-old son.
A jury has been seated in the murder trial of former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson. He is accused of shooting and killing Sonia Massey in July of last year after she called police to her Springfield home. The trial was moved an hour away to Peoria due to intense pre-trial publicity. The 12-person jury includes 9 men and 3 women. 11 of them are white, 1 is black. The 3 alternates include 2 white men and 1 white female. Today, community members gathered outside the courthouse for a Justice for Sonia rally. They wanted to stand in solidarity with her family.
I was glad that everything got caught on video, because had it not been caught on video, it could have went the same way as all the other police-involved shootings go.
Opening statements are expected to get underway Wednesday morning. The trial is expected to last 2 weeks.
Tonight, recycling is piling up and overflowing at collection sites across St. Louis. This comes a little more than 2 months since alleyway pickups were halted. New at 10, 5 News Eye's Laura Barcheski sat down with residents and city leaders about the change leaving trash in the streets.
Mike and Kelly, the city says the drop sites are already more effective because they're seeing less contamination, but some residents still aren't on board because the bins are still overflowing. Since the city of St. Louis got rid of alleyway recycling on August 14th, officials say they've been able to successfully recycle nearly 80% of what's been brought in. Before the change, more than half of what was brought in was contaminated. The city switched to primarily drop-off sites. They went from 25 of them to 44.
Most residents should have a drop site within a mile of their house. We're not complete yet, but we have pretty robust coverage now that enables the majority of our residents to reach a drop site conveniently.
But some residents say the drop-off sites aren't what they want and are causing some problems.
Usually the same day of pickup, they're full by the end of the day. Trash overflowing, the recycling overflowing onto the ground. And it's just a true eyesore to have this in our neighborhood. It was bad enough when it was, in the alleys. At least we had more of control.
Michelle Pona is the Southwest Garden Neighborhood Association president, and she's been getting phone calls and emails about the overflow and what residents would like to see, just like area aldermen.
Years ago, the city had a program, and I'm talking a while ago, where we all paid into a recycling service. We sorted our own stuff, and we would put it out in front of our house, and it would get picked up. Very similar to what county residents do. A lot of our residents want to go back to a situation like that, whether it be a roll cart, whether it be a bin.
City Chief Operations Officer Benjamin Johnson says it's a work in progress.
In some of these locations, we'll pick up on a Friday, it gets heavy traffic over the weekend, and by Monday they actually are overflowing. So we are looking at them location by location to understand what the right frequency is and adjusting.
Johnson says they're also still working to re-tag old blue bins in the alleys as trash bins, and they did already make some workforce changes to get more waste and recycling picked up.
We're paying any driver, our refuse driver operator, $75 for completing an extra route after their primary route is complete. We are still having a challenge getting all of the routes completed every week.
One of the other things they're working on right now is switching all refuse drivers to iPads to better streamline things. But if you have a problem with your trash or recycling, you can file a report with the Citizen Service Bureau online. And I'll have that link shortly on KSDK.com.
Tragedy averted at the world's busiest airport. Atlanta police arrested a convicted felon they say was plotting a mass shooting at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Authorities say the family of 49-year-old Billy Cagle called police after he live streamed his plans on social media.
We're here today briefing you on a success and not a tragedy, because a family saw something and said something. A family knew they had a family member in crisis, they knew they had access to firearms, and they were on social media.
Cagle was found inside the South Terminal and taken into custody. Police say they found an AR-15 rifle with 27 rounds of ammunition in his truck.
The 11th time was not the charm to reopen the government. Just hours ago on Capitol Hill, the U.S. Senate once again rejected the Republican funding bill passed by the U.S. House. The shutdown has now lasted 20 days, and the shutdown is starting to have a ripple effect to impact Missouri families. Today, the state's Department of Social Services announced it'll be unable to issue SNAP benefits in November. Officials say those benefits are federally funded, and there's not sufficient funding to go around. Food pantries are now bracing for impact.
Right now, 650,000 people in the state of Missouri rely on SNAP. The average household benefit is about $370 per month. So it will be a significant impact on families, an impact on grocery stores that have customers who use SNAP benefits.
Operation Food Search says it's preparing to tap into reserve funding and ramp up emergency food distributions in response.
Sickened by waste hidden in plain sight.
There was no indication that this radioactive waste was in our community.
Tonight, one survivor's fight to get compensation for herself and her neighbors.
My government allowed it to happen to us.
Recovery mode.
When you pull that big plug, everything basically becomes dumb.
Tonight, clues on how a big outage caused many digital distress today.
Autumn air has arrived, sunshine and cool for most of the week, and I'm tracking out when the rain returns.
Right now, hundreds are submitting claims for compensation through the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act.
Justina Cornell sat down with one St. Louisan who's navigating the application process, not just for herself, but also for her father.
24 pages.
Page by page. It's a reminder of the pain.
Yes.
Kristen Camuso
63043
is one of thousands filling out the form for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, known as RECA.
Growing up, you had no idea about this radioactive waste.
Oh no, there was no indication that this radioactive waste was in our community.
RECA is for anyone who lived, worked, or attended school in 21 zip codes and developed certain diseases due to radiation exposure from the making of the atomic bomb in St. Louis. Camuso spent time in 5 of those zip codes, even playing in contaminated sites along Coldwater Creek. It was more than a decade ago when health concerns crept in for Camuso.
And through a CAT scan, they found that I had a tumor on my left adrenal gland, that I had masses on my ovaries. I needed to have my gallbladder removed. So all those major surgeries.
Months later, her throat was sore.
And that's when they found out that I had thyroid cancer as well.
Camuso underwent another major surgery. Then, recovering in the hospital, she saw the advocacy group Just Moms STL on TV, sharing concerns about the radioactive waste.
So it was like this awakening, one, that I could be sick from this, but 2, that my government allowed it to happen to us.
When removing her thyroid, she remembered how vital your voice can be.
And I remember them saying, it's not likely, but it could happen that, if we accidentally get a vocal cord, that you may not be able to use your voice anymore. And I remember getting ready to roll into my surgery and just recording my voice saying, telling my family I loved them. And then I kind of made a promise to myself that I was going to use this voice as long as I had it to fight for this community.
A voice she's now using for herself and her own father.
And now my father has also been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer that has spread to his brain. And while we're preparing for the worst, we're still hoping for the best. It's looking like it's more months than years. So we really want to get his RECA application in. I really want to get mine in as well.
The fight goes beyond family. Her calling includes her community. Now she works for the Missouri Coalition for the Environment.
So I'm a policy specialist. I actually was one that kind of did a lot of the research in different health programs and presented it to Senator Hawley.
That research played a major role in bringing RECA to the St. Louis region. Now that it's here, she pushes through the pain, knowing each page brings back a bit of power.
We've lost a lot of people since the 12 years I've been doing this, but I think it's their memory that keeps driving me.
Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Camuso wants to continue expanding the RECA program, The goal is to add more zip codes and extend the program beyond its deadline date. And for more information on how to apply for the radiation exposure compensation, text the word RECA, that's R-E-C-A, to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link to your phone. Tonight, the maker of Tylenol is pushing back on possible changes to the safety label on its bottles of pills. It comes after the White House encouraged pregnant women to stop taking acetaminophen, linking the usage to childhood autism. Kenvue says the FDA revisions are arbitrary and contrary to law. Right now, safety labels encourage pregnant women and breastfeeding mothers to consult their doctor before using the pain reliever.
Tonight, many of your favorite websites and apps are back online after a massive outage today affecting millions of people. The problem was with Amazon Web Services, the cloud network for apps like Venmo, Snapchat, Facebook, Roblox, and Amazon Prime. Even some airlines reported some issues, and the outage lasted several hours.
DNS failure happened within Amazon. That essentially caused a chain-link effect throughout all of Amazon's servers, starting with a core server in Northern Virginia. Now, it's a huge, huge issue because this one little failure caused a huge swath of the internet to go down.
And the cause of the outage is still unknown. Amazon says it anticipates a full recovery soon. Amazon accounts for 37% of the global cloud market. That's a vast network of physical data centers spread across the globe. The servers power things we use every day, like phones and online shopping, food delivery apps, smart home devices, entertainment and gaming websites, and even airline check-in systems. When it fails like it did today, there is that ripple effect felt around the world. All right, meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with the weather impact forecast. And after our extended summer, we're finally feeling those fall temperatures, Jim.
Yeah, it was kind of shocking, wasn't it? Had to turn on the heat for just a bit this morning. You know, it's a beautiful night tonight. We warmed up today to 74. Today, 74 will be the warmest day of the week. So we're going to be in the 60s for the rest of the week ahead. See the clouds out there? There's a few clouds. I'll talk about those coming up. But 74, there's that high, and the average high is 68. So we were way above that average high. Over the next couple of days, we're below average, mid-60s and sun through Thursday. Rain arrives on Friday. The high may only actually hit 59. And then 63 on Saturday, and more rain chances. Right now at the Arch, it's dry, but the clouds are around. We were talking earlier about a possible sprinkle, but the atmosphere is so dry, 45% on that humidity. It's still warm. West wind at 13. A cold front's working its way through the area. So the gusty wind out there, it's not as high as it was earlier, but still some gusts to 20, 24 miles an hour. And then the wind after midnight goes down to about 10 to 15 miles an hour, but still those warmer overnight lows. We had some 30s this morning, but likely staying in the 40s and mid 40s and some of the colder spots. But the out the door forecast, 49 in St. Louis at 7 a.m., 54 at 9 a.m., and it is all sunshine throughout the day. The problem with tomorrow is the wind back behind this front. We're going to see more wind gusts to about 35 miles an hour. There's that shower chance, maybe up around Greene County, Illinois. Definitely Springfield getting some showers up there at the current time. Tuesday, it's sunshine, like I said. West wind at 15 to 25, gusts to 35 miles an hour. And then that next chance of rain, it really does hold off until we get to Friday. And look at this big batch of rain starts to develop. Not in the morning hours on Friday, but in the afternoon and evening, and then becomes a little bit more widespread south of Interstate 70. And then that rain chance hangs around here Saturday, there's Sunday. That rain chance stays around all the way into the weekend. So what a difference, you know, the couple weeks makes here. We go from a severe drought to all that rain on Saturday and more rain chances next weekend. All right, so we're dry the rest of the week, though, mid-60s, and the, well, looks like cooler weather Friday, and that rain moves in. Keep the umbrellas handy.
All right, Jim, thanks.
Holden's here with sports.
The Blues are looking to round into form as they get back to the Lou. Plus, a star was born in Detroit during tonight's double dose of Monday Night Football. I'll break it all down. Plus, ALCS Game 7 coming up next in sports. The Blues got a win to build off of on Saturday night. Their first home win coming in style, and the Blues want to be known for that. Now, to build off that win, they'll need to beat the Kings tomorrow night. After a day off, the Blues practiced this morning at Enterprise Center, and there was Jordan Binnington sharpening up his game. He was pretty sharp against Dallas, stopping 18 of 19 shots. The low shot total by the Stars was due to the play of the defense in front of Binner. After the team's first two clinkers at home, the Blues played an all-around solid game.
We knew we need to respond. It's not a little bit more urgency, but at the same time, it's we're still building something here, and it was a big response by us.
His feel for where our team's at, his feel for how we're playing. Like, if I ask a player and I want to get someone that's not wearing a letters opinion, I'm going to him or Fowler.
Fresh off a double overtime win at Auburn, Mizzou's road to the college football playoff includes a trip to Nashville, where they will drop anchor against number 10 Vanderbilt on Saturday after adding a little extra hardware to the trophy case. Today, the SEC named Tigers defensive end Zion Young as the conference defensive player of the week. Young was a force in overtime over Auburn. He picked up 2 sacks and was seemingly impossible to block. Coach Drink said Young's play was infectious.
What a gutsy win. Incredibly proud of the staff and the players, and for them just to keep fighting. I mean, it was ugly. It was really, really ugly, but we just kept fighting, and then obviously in overtime, I thought our defense was just dominant. Zion Young was just completely took over the game.
The Illinois Fighting Illini moved up to number 23 during the bye week as they prepare for a trip out west to take on the Washington Huskies. After losses to number 1 Ohio State and number 2 Indiana, the Illini face an uphill battle to make the college football playoff. But head coach Brett Bielema believes if his team wins out, anything could happen.
Did have someone made reference, right, that if the CFPs came out right now with us losing to 1 and 2 and beating USC when they're ranked, and some of the things that we've accomplished and the people that we've played have accomplished, be very realistic to think that we'd be pretty high in that ranking.
The Lions were rude hosts tonight as they welcomed in Tampa for a Monday night football matchup. Amon-Ra St. Brown would get Detroit on the board first, but this game was really determined by his teammate, Jahmyr Gibbs. Watch as he just gets through the line, and ladies and gentlemen, no one is going to catch him, not just on this play, but really all night. He finished with 218 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns as Detroit wins 24-9. The Seahawks welcomed in the Texans in Game 2 of the night, and it didn't take long for Seattle to take flight as Darnold finds Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's going to dunk it in for 6. Seattle's currently leading that game 14-3. And speaking of Seattle, the Mariners were looking to punch their ticket to the World Series for the first time ever, and they carried a 3-1 lead into the 7th. But George Springer is going to turn the game around with one swing of the bat. Toronto now has a date with Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers as they win this one by a final of 4-3. And we're still about 120 days from the kickoff of the Battlehawk season, but the team is continuing to pile up wins off the field. Today, linebacker Travis Feeney announced his intentions to return to the team, and he's expanding his role off the field as well. After volunteering for KSDK, SPCA, and serving as an ambassador for the American Cancer Society last year, he's kicking off this season, making a $2,500 donation to the United Way of Greater St. Louis.
Everything I've gone through, my journey, it's like a phoenix. I've been burnt down, thrown down, everything, come back up. And it's truly great to get recognition for an award like this. I mean, it's always great to get the accolades, the sacks, the tackles, everything, the trophies, the championships, whatever it is. We haven't got those yet.
He's teasing something there. We haven't got those
yet.
The nice thing, though, he dedicated, both his performance on and off the field to his mom and dad. He said if it wasn't for him, there would be no, game out there on the field.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't normally feel too bad for the Seattle Mariners, but for their fans, they've never been to the World Series. They had a 3-1 lead late in the game, and then George Springer hits that home run, and now they're not going to the World Series. Not that anybody's going to beat the Dodgers anyway. They're so good.
But the fact that they were that close.
I know.
And they had that Kyle Raleigh. It's just super season. Hopefully we can see a repeat of that next year.
Yeah, we'll see. Holden, thanks.
Okay, let's talk more sports. You know this song. They'll be rocking to Round Ball Rock at 30 Rock tomorrow. The big performance planned tomorrow for an iconic theme song. Emmy-winning comedian John Mulaney is adding dates to his Mr. Whatever tour, and that includes the Steeple Theater in St. Louis. The show is set for January 16th. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. The Chicago native will make history next summer when he becomes the very first comic to ever headline a show at Wrigley Field.
The NBA on NBC returns tomorrow night after 24 years, and so will one of the greatest sports theme songs. And to celebrate, composer John Tesh and his 12-piece band will perform this song, Round Ball Rock, live on the Today Show tomorrow morning at 7, right here on 5 on Your Side. And pregame coverage for the NBA opening night doubleheader starts tomorrow night at 5:30. Tip-off for Game 1 is at 6:30. Game 2 starts at 9 p.m., followed by a very, very late edition of 5 on Your Side at 10.
Okay, everybody. Da, 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 da.
There you have it. 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
That fell flat. Be sure to start your day with Today in
Might be
St.
our
Louis
singing.
beginning at 5 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.